I start with a quote. "When you split me and my brother in the womb, you did not divide us evenly. He got kindness, and I got longing. He got complacence, and I got ambition. Sometimes I think I want to kill him, and sometimes I think he wants to die," says Cain. Now, the main theme in John Steinbeck's East of Eden is we talk about this really innate desire that all humans have to want to be loved, and the damaging and destructive consequences of what happens when our life is absent of this love. Our story follows an individual named Adam Trask as he navigates his life in the Salinas Valley of California in the late 1980s, when this was a very tumultuous and warring time in American history. Now, you might be wondering, when has it been sunshine and rainbows in American history ever? And you'd be absolutely right. I feel like the story of man is the story of war. But I digress. Now, Adam Trask, our protagonist, there isn't inherently anything wrong with him. If anything, he's a very kind and gentle individual. He tends to see the good in people. He understands that we are not the sum of our mistakes. We are multifaceted individuals, and our characters should not and cannot be defined through maybe a moment of weakness or maybe a moment of evil. And it's ultimately this sort of this nature of his that usually ends up being exploited by his brother and his family and everyone around him. His brother, Charles Trask, is the complete antithesis to Adam. He has a cruelness to him that sort of contrasts to his brother's kindness. And it's for this exact reason why their father, Cyrus Trask, prefers Adam over Charles. Now, this difference in treatment really festers up and reaches its boiling point when one day Adam Trask and Charles Trask, the two brothers, give their father a gift for his birthday. And when ultimately their father prefers Adam's gift over Charles' gift, Charles understands that this difference is more than I can bear, and he tries to kill Adam. Now, this is when we truly understand that this is no ordinary sibling rivalry. This is a retelling of the story of Cain and Abel. Amongst the other themes, we talk about the existence of free will. You'll find John Steinbeck ask a very important underlying question of whether we are trapped by our nature, or do we really have the freedom to choose the person that we become. There's a huge ensemble of characters, and what I've narrated is merely the first act in this. We see Adam Trask and everyone around him grow up. This is a multi-generational epic. We'll see Adam grow up into a man, and he carries this trauma forward, and the cycle repeats from generation to generation. And I reference to what I said earlier, where the underlying question is whether goodness is inherent, if good nature and evil is something that is a part of us when we're born, or whether it's something that sort of is brought out by our environment. And what I really like about the book is that it vehemently argues that stay with me here. It argues that it's not our nature. We're not trapped by our nature, and we most certainly do have the ability to choose. Now, that's really good, because I think that means that no one can be born evil and use that as an excuse to behave in unsavory ways. It's ultimately a choice as to what we do, the actions that we take. Now, the problem with that is, while the book is agreeing that, okay, evil isn't something that's inherent and it's a product of our environment, the same way, the problem with that is that it can also be said that goodness isn't something that's inherent either. Goodness is something that has to be chosen over and over and over again. It's not something that just comes to us. Now, that's where we really have to put in the effort to make difficult choices, be them good. Now, one of the things that I feel really makes the story heavy is that all of these characters, they lie somewhere in between of the spectrum of good and bad, and they're all struggling with their own problems in life, and no good deed goes unpunished, and no evil goes unrewarded. Remember that. What I feel makes the story feel so heavy is that despite what the compulsion of a character might be, ultimately they're not trapped, they're not victims to this invisible force that you may recognize as fate. They're all responsible for their own actions, and even if they make wrong actions, the point is that they've always had the freedom to choose. And that's what I love about Steinbeck, man. You'll find that he really takes a long time, as you can see from the thickness of this book, to develop all these characters, and eventually you start to understand exactly who a person is. You'll start to feel like some of these characters sort of mirror your own behavior, and you'll find a lot of them to be relatable, be it the good or bad parts. Yeah. You might find that maybe because it's so big, a lot of it is just meandering and in very deep detail describing the setting, but I do feel like that's sort of all classics. It needs to be that detailed, and it needs to be this dense for it to be able to change your life and change your brain chemistry the way that classics are meant to. But yeah, man, I absolutely love this. It's seldom has a book ever been so, I feel like, has so much wisdom to impart where I've had to make a public appearance like this. But yeah, and even after everything that transpires, all the damage, all the guilt, all the failure that occurs in this book, it leaves you with one final idea. You are free to choose. Your story is not finished. Dude, really take the time to pick this up. Set aside a few weekends, take your PTOs from work, and really try to chip away at this. I really think there's no prerequisite to reading this. You don't have to read any of the other Steinbeck books. Yeah. If there's any book that you should read, it's definitely this one. Yeah. Yeah, a quick little fun fact. Apparently there's a movie on East of Eden, and the beloved James Dean plays one of the characters in it, so isn't that great? Gonna have to watch that and see if it's any good. Yeah.